I don't know how this shows up on camera, but this is called light Cahill. It's a very pale yellow. It doesn't add attraction to the fly. It blends in. There's no takeaway. There's no addition. All this is doing is holding the thing together. I like this color. Again, I'm using 8/0 uni, and there we go. Does everybody have a hook, by the way?
Which one are you using?
We're using the short,
Short one?
the same short one. We're going to put the, don't forget, leave that sweet spot. Now, when you're tying this fly, you've heard two people say the same thing. Tie it sparse. But what I want you to do is make sure that you've got a nice thread base that's continuous with no breaks in it, because on this method you use 2 strands with Leonard. Well, with me you're going to use one strand tied in the back, and then we're going to wrap it up to the unused portion of the hook. I'm getting so I can't see in this room.
Tying it in the back.
Tying it right in the back, if I can see it. I may have to have Bob come over and do it.
Want my cheaters?
Yeah.
Okay, magnifiers for your magnifiers.
No.
Didn't work?
No. Blurry. All right. All right. We've got our thread tied on. We're coming all the way up. Now we're going to wrap this. Put a nice wrap on it. Butt it up tight. And I think this was the 727 color. If anybody wants to try one in the 744, feel free to. Okay, I need a volunteer, or a couple of them. Okay, you've all just received a pinch of dubbing. There's probably enough dubbing there to tie, to do what we're going to do a dozen times. I'm going to take and put a very tight, thin noodle on my thread. Again, we dubbed last week. It's tight, it's thin. It's not as thin as I'd like it. There it is. All right, now, where this dubbing, watch, goes right at the end of your, over the top, and it all goes right over the top of the last few strands of yarn. You can, and when you dub that, you don't spread it out. You put your wraps right on top of each other. You can see the narrow collar that it makes. I don't know if the picture shows it, but there's some of the dubbing that sticks out. You can trim that off if you want to. If it's excessively long, I do trim it, and I'll trim it just for, I'll trim it as much as I can see. It's just a tiny little collar. All right, again, the partridge feather, as Leonard said, the gray feathers off of the skin are preferable for this type of fly, this emerger fly. Again, it's sparse, it's sparse, it's sparse. Prepare, if you haven't done it yet, start to prepare your feather.
Bill,
Sir.
like we prepared the other ones.
Okay, prepare your drawing, or your, prepare your hackle like we've done the other ones. Get the little upside down candle flame. It's your choice if you cut the side off or not. The only feathers that I use for dry fly, or for soft hackle that I don't cut the side off, is starling, those black birds that gang up in the fall. That is excellent soft hackle.
Oh, good. We'll let my mom know.
Get him in the tree and get a shotgun.
That's it.
How about turkey vulture?
No, no.
That's too hard of.
Oh, lead poisoning? Lots of things die of lead poisoning every year.
Did you tie that off? How does that?
I tied that hackle in on the eye side of that collar. The hackle, when you turn the hackle, will butt up against that collar, and it will help your hackle stand up straighter.
Yeah, well, how's that work?
No guarantees, but
Which one to?
You said this one you want sparse, or do you want this one?
sparse.
Did you cut off the one side?
I sure do. Yes, I did. I cut one side of you off too. I could feed the half the 5th Division. Tell him, Al, you were a tech sergeant.
Bill, did you cut half the feathers off?
Yes, sir.
You can do it.
Right, too. Yeah.
Did you go to the rusty nail or whatever the hell it was the other day? Yeah.
Can I get another feather?
Sure you
I just
can.
destroyed mine.
Who did Dan?
Me.
Did he steal it from you?
No, I just broke it.
I was wondering what the hours were.
Help yourself, folks.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Try
Sorry.
that little one.
Yeah.
Where's that now?
Thank
I think if I get out of school early tomorrow, I'm going to make an order.
Feather craft. Hooks and hackle.
I don't know. I need 2 bucktails that I can't find.
August 25th, is it?
What color you need?
Dark olive and light olive, but I don't want sculpin olive.
They might have it. He's got some yellow bucktails at Cordell.
Yeah, just.
I've got yellow, I've got the orange.
He's got some olive ones.
Does it? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that dubbing that you used was bought at Orvis, and it's the Spectral Blend Nymph Light Hair's Ear. I get a little bit of sparkle to it, but you're using so much of it, or so little of it.
Did you use Dr. Harris here for?
I would use a dry fly dubbing if I was going to use something that wouldn't absorb water. I want this fly up there. I don't want them on the bottom.
So this one's gonna be this one's a dry fly?
Pardon?
This is a dry fly now?
No, this is a wet
Okay, you just don't.
subsurface. This fly will be either on the surface or, I've had my best luck with it either on the surface or down about 2.5, maybe 3 inches. I was watching bluegills one day from me to you. In fact, I wasn't catching any.
That's the right size.
And I couldn't understand why I was catching no fish. And I made a bad cast. And I said, ah, shit. I just picked it up and I raced the fly across the water. Wham!
What did I tell you?
My mistake taught me something in the pond. And then I would do that, and I was catching bluegills
Make it turn a thread.
for a couple hours. And I noticed that if the fly got lower in the water column than about 3 inches, they never touched. Now that was bluegills. Larry and I have no idea how deep those flies got when we were in the Catskills last year.
I'll definitely catch fish.